It's the Flying Squirrels pregame warm-up with Sam Ravech.
Flying Squirrels pregame show. It is Tuesday. That means we are in the steel cage with pitching coach Steve Klein. Kleiner, thanks for joining us as always.
Anytime, Sammy, anytime.
All right, so now that we are nearing the halfway point in the season, the All-Star break is right around the corner. Are we making progress on the pitching staff, starters, two relievers, closers? Where would you assess this pitching staff right at this moment? And it seems like it's some pitchers at this level, you like to see that fastball command be there, as often as it can be. It seems like that's still somewhat troublesome for some of these pitchers. Is that a fair assessment? So on the mound tonight will be Sam Coonrod. It seems like yesterday we were talking exactly last week about Sam Coonrod going to get another start. He struggled through 6 innings. He gave up all those earned runs within 3 innings. So now he's going to get the start today. It seems like it's been a little bit of a tough season for Coonrod in his first full year with AA, but he's getting a lot of foul tips as well, which gets that pitch count up there early. It's such a mental game, especially when you're on the mound, and you of course had to deal with that for 11 years in the big league. So how when you're getting down, when you have that bad inning, what was it for you that you said, look, I gotta grind this one out? How did you kind of bring all that mental stuff in and just get past that inning?
Well, that's what you worked out in the off season for. You train hard so that for days like that you had a second gear to go to.
And these guys better than most people do, just being with them 24/7 essentially. And it seems like there are different buttons to push for each pitcher. How do you kind of know which buttons to push and when not to push for these different pitchers? Is it just a learning experience as you get to know them better?
Yeah, it's for me. I learn too as we go because. I coached high school wrestling for 20 years, so I know how to scream and yell like a madman if I have to.
It seems like there are some that could use just that kick in the butt right about now at this point of the season. I want to talk a little bit about Matt Gage. He's won his last 2 starts, could have gone the complete game, had a couple of pitches not needed some extra work in. What have you seen from him over the past couple of starts? He's going to get the start here on Thursday.
Same thing I saw him last year and the year before. He goes out and does his thing when he has to.
Well, sometimes those pitchers do need to get a little bit of extra work in. Sometimes in the bullpen, you don't pitch for 5 or 6 days. So, now heading down the stretch of the season, like we said, we're about halfway through. What are a couple of things that you point out that you want to see from these guys, whether it's in the starting rotation or in the bullpen? Where are like a couple of things that they want to improve on?
I just want fastball command.
It's like Miles Schroeder become a switch hitter over the course of an offseason.
They said, I just want to hit from both sides, I think.
And Jay, there's so much talk of shifts nowadays, and we talked about Phillips playing closer over to third base there in shortstop position. That ball not hit all that hard back up the middle. I'm not sure if Phillips was playing in a normal position, normal depth, he might have been able to make that play. Well, Jay, you like the ability for Coonrod to get some outs here. I think that's a good sign. I think that had the Squirrels been playing a better offensive team, Hartford batting just .231 on the season, it might have been a little bit different. These fastballs that Coonrod is throwing right now are a little bit too high in the zone. Yeah, and I remember talking with Matt Gage about this as well, and he said when he goes to face Hartford, he's throwing first pitch strike because he knows that Hartford is a team and the Colorado Rockies organization as a whole is a team that's offensively charged. They like to swing at first pitches if they can get a fastball. We've talked about this kind of all season. Whenever the Squirrels are playing the Yard Goats, they have their pitcher bat 8th. This is kind of the only time I see it where it makes sense. I haven't really seen it work yet. They're going to run on you, Jay. There's no question about that. This could be a time where you might see pitching coach Steve Klein go out and just talk about holding runners on base a little bit. He's played first base his whole career. He thought Gomez might have had a better angle on the play.
Yeah, I think that's how he read it.
We continue on the Flying Squirrels pregame show. I'm now joined by Todd Parnell. Parney, of course, thanks for joining us, and it's good to have you back after the grand reopening in Montgomery.
What's up there, Rav Dog? You national superstar on ESPN on Father's Day. Congratulations for that.
We've had a couple of changes here in the office. Something I want to talk about. Ben Rothrock just promoted to GM here. You've known him for quite a while now. He's been with the Flying Squirrels for quite a while, and he's been part of this family for as long as we can remember. And now now finally getting. It's great that they were able to do that and stay here within the family, because we certainly appreciate all the hard work that they do for the organization. That is Todd Parnell joining us. Parney, it's good to have you back here at the Diamond.
It's good to be here with you, Ravi. You never call me when I'm away, though.
I know.
It makes me really sad. I sit in the hotel room and I look at my phone, and Ravi never calls me.
Well, I'll have to do that.
You said that last time.
Okay, I did say it last time, but we'll figure it out, Parney. I promise. We'll figure something out. That's it right there. We will continue on the Flying Squirrels pregame show. Starting lineups are coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Batting fifth and doing the designated hitting, Eric Haas. Batting sixth out in right field, Luigi Rodriguez. As the Flying Squirrels are set to take the field here, set to take on the Akron Rubber Ducks here in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Dan Slania leads the Squirrels out on the mound as he will be getting his 4th start of the season for the Flying Squirrels tonight. It's got to be one of the harder ones where it's off the end of the bat and you have to make a really quick reaction to it. And Dan's a guy that'll say, give it to me straight. You know, he's not one of those guys that'll fluff around whatever's going on. He said, look, I did not have my best stuff. I was, like you said, putting a lot of pressure on myself, which compounded the problem. Well, now that he's back here, though, he's a guy with a great attitude, and I have no doubt that he'll be back up at AAA fairly soon. Yeah, it opens up the double play possibility as well. And I think we talked about it earlier. Slania, a guy who's been around quite a while now, was drafted back in 2013. He knows the importance of holding runners on, limiting that damage that we talked about. Jordan Johnson's still in that learning process, so I just think that Slania has a little bit more experience doing just that. Back-to-back base hits for Jordan Smith here in this one. Dan Slania has given up some contact, 4 hits now for the Akron Rubber Ducks. Slania, 41st pitch about to be thrown. It'll be Tyler Krieger batting second. Slania is going to face the top of the order here in the top of the 3rd. Akron with a 1-0 lead over the Squirrels. First pitch, a little bit outside. And it'll be 1-0 to Tyler Krieger. Slania comes set and the 1-1. Fastball looped out to right field. Hunter Cole is back on it, and he makes the catch on the run for the first out of the inning.
Catcher, number 17, Francisco Mejia.
One down, Francisco Mejia. We talked about top-rated prospect for the Indians, ranked number 1, Baseball America. Leads the Eastern League in batting average, hitting .353. Entering tonight's game, he grounded out to first last time he was up. Big looping curveball from Slania is in there for a called strike on the outside corner. He had a 13-game hitting streak to start off the year, starting on opening day, going all the way to April 24th. He went 18 for 49, batting .367 in that time. We can all remember he had a 50-game hit streak last season, 4th longest in minor league history. 50 games for Mejia. Curveball flied out to deep center field. Heathcott guards it with his glove. He makes the catch. Joe Smith will have to round second, head to first, and they get him. Double play turn. Heathcott on the warning track makes a throw on the dart back to first base to get Smith. And the Squirrels get out of the inning. Jordan Smith thought that Heathcott had lost it. He did not. The Flying Squirrels get out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Richmond still trails 1-0. Oh, beautiful night here at the Diamond, heading to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Fans still filing in. A packed house here on the Boulevard tonight. Squirrels trail 1-0 to the Akron Rubber Ducks. Dylan Davis doing the designated hitting today for the Flying Squirrels. Steps up to the plate. Here's the pitch from Esparza, called strike at the knees in the outside corner for strike 1. Well, Esparza's been on tonight. He's not allowed a hit yet to the Squirrels. Here's the 0-1. They're not sweep the series, I should say. They will try to even up the series with this 4 games. Now, as we said, the Squirrels will have the day off tomorrow and then head up to Harrisburg for a quick 3-game road trip, then back here to the Diamond for Friday evening, taking on the Akron Rubber Ducks. And as we said, not too many days left to come out and see the Flying Squirrels here at the Diamond. after today, there are in fact just 11 more games to play here at the Diamond. So make sure, if you have not come on down to see the Squirrels in action, there's still some time to do it, but not that much left as the season is winding down. There's no doubt about it. The Squirrels entering today's contest 18 games below 500 at 50-68. That is the furthest they have been from 500 all season. The Reading Fightin' Phils gaining some ground on the Binghamton Rumble Ponies for the second place spot in the Eastern Division. Well, we've seen quite a few home runs as well. We talked about that with our man Greg Caserta, who was the Flying Squirrels broadcaster with my man Jay here last season. And Greg talked about just how hard it is to hit a ball out of this ballpark. We have seen so far in this series 7 home runs. The Squirrels with Caleb Gindel having 2 of those as well in back-to-back games on Friday and in Game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. So we'll see if Gindel can maybe get another one out here today. We've also seen quite a few home runs on the other side for the Reading Fightin' Phils. Cord Sandberg has been red hot. He has been able to really see this Flying Squirrels pitching staff very well. He is batting .448 over his last 7 games. That's 13 for 29 with 2 home runs, 3 doubles, and 6 runs batted in. So we'll see if Matt Lujan can keep the ball low in the zone here today. There really is not that much wind, if any. It's blowing out a little bit to right field, but Tyler Viza has given up his fair share of home runs this season, 14 over 113 innings pitched this season. So the Squirrels facing a pitcher that has been giving up home runs this season. We'll see if they can get a few here today. Flying Squirrels taking the field here in the final game of this series, and the homestand led by C.J. Hinojosa. I will step aside. The national anthem is about to get underway here at the Diamond. First pitch is coming up next right here on Fox Sports 910. Well, it certainly is baseball time in the River City, folks. The Flying Squirrels wrapping up this series and the homestand here today. Matt Lujan on the mound for the Flying Squirrels. The left-hander will try to help the Squirrels even up the series against the Reading Fightin' Phils, AA affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. And with that, I turn it over to my broadcast partner, Jay Burnham, for the play-by-play. Jay?
All right, Sam, thanks so much as always. And hello once again, everybody. Welcome back to the ballpark.
Thank you, Jay. Matt Lujan back out on the mound after flying one out to left field. Lujan, a product of the West Coast Conference, in which pitchers take some BP on days where the team has a good offensive day. They say, why don't you get out there? So Lujan has swung the bat as well. He's a very good golfer as well. Lujan will face the top of the order here in the top of the third. And it will be Zach Coppola, who lined out to left field the last time he was up. Squirrels took a 1-0 lead off a solo home run off the bat of Casey Hobson back in the bottom of the second. And Coppola swings at the first pitch and flies it out to shallow center field. Coming in is Gindel, and he makes the catch on the run for out number 1. Reading currently has a 2-1 advantage on the series. This is the final game of this 4-game series. Angelo Mora squares to bunt, pulls it back. A called strike one on the outside corner from Lujan. That was the 30th pitch. 20 of those have been for strikes. Mora skies one high into shallow center field. Once again, Caleb Gindel is there for out number 2. Back-to-back fly outs to center field, and there's 2 gone for Carlos Tocci. Tocci went 0 for 3 in Game 1 yesterday with a stolen base and a walk. And he takes ball 1 low and away.
We continue on the Flying Squirrels pregame show. I'm now joined by Casey Hobson. Had the game-tying home run last night. You've had 3 home runs in the past 3 games. Casey, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about a little bit before this season gets started. You got the chance to play for your father. This is going a season back with Lancaster. Talk about that experience, just growing up with a dad in the game. Like myself, I have a dad who I'm trying to, kind of emulate my career after, and similar, I'm sure you are trying to get to the big leagues, as is everybody. But what has it been like learning from him and getting to play for him? What was that experience like?
Yeah, that's a good point. Has he
always kind of given you baseball advice? Have you been able to go to him for pretty much anything in life? I mean, has he always kind of been that figure for you that you can go to talk about baseball, but you can also talk about anything else that's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's funny how we can share in those similar kind of things that go on. Let's talk about, you were drafted in the 6th round by the Toronto Blue Jays. What was that experience like? Who do you share the moment with? Did you get a phone call? How did that all go down?
Well,
talked about Parney and just kind of this overwhelming family kind of feel that it has here in Richmond. What has it been like for you so far? I'll tell you what, he doesn't sleep, and he is always concerned about what's going on with the players. He always says this should be the best stop in your minor league career, and he, of course, does the best job around at doing just that. What are some of your goals? Obviously, you want to get to the big leagues. Is it kind of a step-by-step process? How do you go about doing something like that? Obviously, it's been a dream of yours for quite a while now. That's Casey Hobson joining us on the Flying Squirrels pregame show. 3 home runs in the past 3 games. Talk about the home run last night. It was a 3-0 count. You got the green light, I'm assuming, and that was probably one of the hardest hit balls that we've seen at the Diamond. It's not easy getting one out here. I'm sure that you've seen that so far. Drove one last night, a solo shot to tie the game up. Unfortunately, the Squirrels could not come away with a win, but that's Casey Hobson. He's swinging the bat very well at the plate. Casey, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it for having me. Thank you.
All right, when we continue on the Flying Squirrels pregame show, the starting lineup's coming up next here on Fox Sports 910.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder, what if these guys played in that game yesterday? And I think sometimes you got to take a step back, especially us. We like to see them, but the All-Star game, when they're playing, everyone else is resting. Not only did Slade Heathcott play in the All-Star game, he played in the Home Run Derby as well. Yeah. He's taking a lot of swings there. Even the guys in the Major League Home Run Derby said, you don't even take this many swings during batting practice. He hooked it. It's like a golf shot. When you hook it, it just doesn't stop. And sure Schroeder was stay fair. I would have scored 2. Jay, even if you come away with 3 runs here, everybody's making solid contact early on in the game, and that's arguably more important because you like to think that you're going to score a couple more runs. I think if you can, try to get Tyler Herb up at the plate. He can swing, but then you start the bottom of the second off with the top of the order again. Yeah, I really don't mind that decision there from manager Kyle Haynes and Slade Heathcott. I mean, look, Crownover has not exactly known where it's going. That might have been an accident.
I'd agree. Here's
Tyler Herb struggling here with Darian Sanford, but I like it. I like the music. It's kind of a variation. I think you can. It's one of those genres you can kind of throw everything in there now. A little blend of classic rock. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Sanford. There's a strike at the lower part of the zone, and it's 3-1. Tyler Herb walked 3 batters in the top of the second inning. He's got a 3-1 count to Darian Sanford. Here's a guy you don't want on the base paths. 3-1, a called strike 2, and it'll be full count now to Sanford. Sanford pinch hit yesterday in the top of the 9th inning. Got aboard, stole second, came around to score on an RBI double from Corbin Joseph. Here's a fly ball to left field. Dylan Davis is in, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
We continue on the Flying Squirrels pregame show. First game after the All-Star break. I'm now joined by manager Kyle Haynes. Kyle, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Sam.
How was the All-Star break? You had a couple of days to relax. Was baseball on the mind? Were you able to just kind of forget about it a little bit?
No, I never can forget about it. Still always on the mind, just trying to figure out what the best plan of attack is here for the last part of the season, and talking about various things, and spent a lot of great time on the golf course with old Joe T. I mean, so can't get much better than that.
It doesn't get much better than playing golf with Joe T. and some of his shots and his motions and some of the things that he brings out there. So now that we're heading into the, I guess call it the second half of the season, we've really already been over halfway, but what are some of the things that you have told the team as a whole, some of the goals that we have for this team heading down the stretch? Obviously, some of these players, you read trade rumors and you can see things on social media and whatnot. What do you tell these guys, leading up to that deadline? There's a lot of prospects on this team, but what do you tell them? What's kind of the message leading up to the deadline?
Hey, I was just going to say, let's get a quick 1-2-3 inning here. Get the bats back up at the plate because the longer the defense is out there, the harder it's going to be to come back in this game.